Hi friends! So today we are going to be learning about the talking feather. Now this is actually very special to me because my father-in-law is a Native American, and one time when my two older girls, Kayla and Skyla, were over their house, they were fighting like crazy. They were fighting and bickering and they weren't getting along, and my Native American father-in-law said, "I know what your family needs. You need a talking feather." He said, "I'm going to make your family a talking feather, and I'm going to go over to your house and explain what a talking feather is." So he made us a talking feather for our home, and you take a feather and you decorate it all you want and make it pretty. And I'm going to first tell you the legend of the talking feather. So many, many, many moons ago, which means a long, long time ago, there was a village, and the Native American men went to go hunting, and the Native American girls, women, went to go get berries and things for dinner, but the grandmother was in charge of the little ones. Now, it was the little ones' time for their naps because in Native American, when you go to bed, dreams are very, very important. So they always had the children take naps because dreaming was really important. So one time, the grandmother put all the kids into bed and for them to dream, and all of a sudden, she heard two birds fighting and quacking and yelling at each other. And she looked up and she said, "Oh, Creator, can you please stop those birds from waking my young ones?" Guess what? They didn't stop. So she went outside and she saw a crow up on a branch and also a magpie. Now, those two birds are the noisiest birds ever. And they were arguing over whose tree this was and whose branch this was. So the grandmother was watching them, and the crow was going, "Caw, caw, 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 caw," and the magpie was going, "Caw, caw, caw," and they were both fighting and arguing over the branch, and they were neighbors. So they were fighting, and grandmother yelled up, "You two birds, stop fighting, stop arguing. My little ones are trying to dream." But do you think they stopped? No, 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 no. Because when you are arguing and fighting, you don't really listen. So they kept fighting and arguing. So finally the grandmother said, "Oh, eagle one," because the eagle in Native American, the bird is the sacred bird. And she called on the eagle and she said, "Oh, eagle, great one, can you please help these two birds stop fighting so my little ones can dream?" And the eagle swooped down and tried to call a warning to crow and magpie. But nope, they were arguing so much they didn't even see the eagle. And the eagle got really mad and he flapped his wings and he was trying to warn them to stop the arguing. But did they stop? No, because they were arguing and fighting and they were not listening or looking around to anything that was happening to them. So the eagle got even more mad and he flapped his wings trying to get their attention. And then the eagle swooped down by them and was flapping his wings so hard that one of his eagle wings fell off and broke off. And it started floating all the way down, and then it fell right in between the magpie and the crow, and it was going in between them. And they stopped and they looked up and they saw the eagle, and then they were scared because the eagle is the sacrifice one. He is the one that is like the above everything, and he is the mighty one of the eagle. And when they saw that his wing was broken because he was trying to warn them, they froze. And so then the eagle's wing was going all the way to the ground, but crow swooped down, grabbed the eagle's wing and went back up there and said, "Oh, eagle, 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 I'm so sorry. We were fighting so much. I did not see you were trying to warn us." And then the magpie bird couldn't believe crow. his nasty neighbor who's always barking and yelling and squawking said some wise words. So the crow gave the eagle feather to Magpie, and Magpie was going to give it to Eagle. And then once Crow was done talking, he gave the feather to Magpie, and Magpie said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, the Eagle, that we were arguing so much that we did not hear you, that we hurt you, that one of your feathers came down and fell because we were arguing." And then they both looked at each other. Crow and Magpie looked at each other and realized that because they were arguing, that is why they were not listening. They did not know their surroundings, and arguing is not good. So the eagle swooped down and said, "This is a lesson, and this is for everyone to learn." And he said, "Give this feather to the grandmother." So they swooped down, gave the eagle feather to the grandmother, and they said, "Grandmother, you teach this lesson to your little ones. Tell them you're going to decorate the eagle feather and make it nice and pretty. So this is going to be the talking feather. So whoever is holding the feather gets to talk while the other person listens." Now the rule is, if you have the curved inside, that means when you're talking to somebody who you're arguing with or you're not getting along with, that your words bounce off and you can hear what you're saying, so that you're not saying anything mean or harsh. But sometimes that doesn't happen. So when that doesn't happen, you turn it over, and that way your voice goes straight to the person you are talking to, so they are listening to you. So the grandmother, she took the eagle's feather and said, "Thank you so much." And so she went and she told the tale of how the eagle came to be the talking feather, and ever since then, this has been called the talking feather. They also have a talking stick too, but the talking feather is something that was brought into my family because my kids were fighting so much. And if someone's arguing, we get the talking feather out, and one person at a time has to talk. So if I'm holding the feather, I get to talk and the other person listens. And when I'm done, I give it to somebody else, and I have to listen, because that is the rule of the talking feather. Now, you guys are going to be making a talking feather for your home. And if you want to make other ones, you can make another one too for the classroom or for your a friend, and you can tell them the legend of the talking feather. So come close, I'm going to show you how to make a talking feather. So you're going to have a long pipe cleaner. I like to cut it in half because it's really long. So I just cut it in half. Cut in half. That way we can have two or just use one. So your feather actually has a long little, right here, where you're going to just simply take this and this, but you have to kind of connect it. So I'm going to take, actually, so you can see it, a bead, and then I'm going to push this inside here like this so it stays. And then one thing that's good about the pipe cleaner is you can wrap it around so it stays. And then I also like to have a couple of them on there just to keep it. So you're just going to decorate it. See how it kind of stays? And I wrap it around a little bit. Sometimes you got to wrap the pipe cleaner around for it to stay. So now I have this. Now all I do is start decorating it. Now you have other feathers there too, and you can add another feather, and you have to put the feather inside this so that way it stays. And sometimes you got to wrap it around with the pipe cleaner. That's why the pipe cleaner is the best way, because it really, really helps. You can twist it so it stays with the bead like that, and you just keep going, and I just keep going to make it pretty. Use all the beads you want. Now you can make it longer, shorter, and like I said, I actually like to have another feather at the end, and I wrap it around like this to have a talking feather. And it's not that long, it's just a little one like this. So this is the talking feather that you'll be making today at school, and when you're done, you can make another one for another family member or a cousin or a neighbor, because this is Thanksgiving and we are giving, and we are things that we're thankful for. And this also helps when you have arguments, or they also used it when they had meetings, if you have family meetings. But Native Americans, they would sit in a circle and they would have council fires, they would have them, and one person would talk to it. Now, this is the most important thing. Actually, the first person who holds this is the oldest, the eldest. So in our classroom, it would be me. Now in my family, it would be Mr. Spiker because he's the oldest. So right here, so this is an example of the one that my Native American father-in-law made for us. And see, actually he has it kind of twisted right here. He has all different kinds of beads, and we can just twist it this way or this way, and it just makes it nice and pretty. And this is my talking feather from my Native American father-in-law, and you are making one today. Have fun, my friends.